Welcome to the WebSphere MQ failover demonstration. In this video, we will be testing some of the failover capabilities of WebSphere MQ. Just to give you a brief overview of our video, we'll go over the basic failover scenario. We're going to validate its results. We'll have some additional failover scenarios, and we'll end by giving our conclusions of the testing. So let's take a look at the basic failover scenario. We have the active Queue Manager running on server 109 TTWMQ-A2, and we have another instance of it running on standby, and we have our sender. So we're going to begin by sending 10 messages to the active 109 server, and then we're going to introduce a network disruption by killing the NIC on that VM, which should cause a failover to take place, and the standby will become the active, and we should see those 10 messages. So let's go ahead and jump right into our demo. Alright, now that we're in the environment, we can see here that we have on the 109, we see that our Queue Manager TTWMQ-A2 is running. And if we look on the 115, we see that it is running as standby, so it's waiting for that lock from the active Queue Manager. If we take a look at the MQ Explorer, we can see that we have an empty queue here with no messages on it, and we're connected to the 109 Queue Manager instance. So we have our load runner script here that's going to send 10 messages. So we're going to send these 10 messages. We're going to kill the NIC on the 109. It's going to cause a failover, and we'll wait. It takes about a minute, 45 seconds to 2 minutes for the failover to take place. So we'll start our timer, and we'll wait for the failover to take place, and then we'll see the results, and hopefully we'll see the 10 messages on failed over to 115. So let's go ahead and run our test right now. So we'll send these 10 messages, and then we can view them once we send them in MQ Explorer. We give this a refresh, and we see that we have those 10 messages, so we can go ahead and kill the NIC, and that'll start the failover process. So we'll bring up here so we can view our status, and we'll start our timer. Alright, since it's been 2 minutes here, we're going to check the status. We see that it's running as standby. And we can see that the MQ Explorer just picked it up, but we'll check the status here. We can see that it's running, and we see that we have 10 messages here in MQ Explorer. So we can use we can pull these messages off, so we can make sure that they're the correct 10 messages, and they should be numbered 1 to 10. So we'll just pull them off here. And we can see that they were numbered correctly 1 to 10. So our failover took place successfully. The 10 messages moved from 109 to 115 because of the network going down. So we're going to test another scenario here, and we'll do a brief explanation of it. So we'll hop into that right now. Alright, and just to go over our additional failover scenario, we can see our current environment here just as it is after the first test. We see that we have the 109 server in standby, and the 115 is now the active Queue Manager instance. So we still have our client sender. So for this test, we're going to begin by sending 15 messages to the 115 server, and we'll introduce some network disruption by killing the NIC on the 115 VM, which is going to cause a failover to take place. So that's going to give up the file lock on there, and the standby is going to take it, and it's going to change to active. Alright, so let's hop back over to our environment and run this test. Alright, so we're back inside our environment, and we can see that on 109 it's now running as standby, and 115 is running as the active instance. And if we take a look at MQ Explorer, we have 0 messages. We pulled off the other 10 that we were working with in the first test, and we're now connected to 115. So for this test, we're going to kind of do the same thing. We're going to send 15 messages to the 115, then we're going to kill the NIC on it, introduce some network disruption, and we will wait for the failover to take place. Again, it takes about 2 minutes, so we'll wait for that to fail back over to 109, and we'll see the result. Hopefully we'll see those 15 messages. So let's go ahead and we'll send those 15 messages to the 115. And once those send, we can view them in MQ Explorer, and we can see that we have those 15 messages. So we're going to kill the NIC on here, and we'll wait for our failover to take place. Alright, and we can see that the MQ Explorer picked up the new. See, it's running on 109 here. We'll check the status of it, and we can see that it is now running. And we have these 15 messages that we sent to 115 and now failed over to 109. So we can pull them off just to Make sure those are the right messages, that they're numbered 1 through 15. So we'll consume them here, and we'll take a look at them. Alright, see they have those messages numbered 1 through 15, so those are the same messages that we sent, and we saw that the failover took place successfully. So let's take a look at our results from our testing. Alright, just to give a quick overview of our tests and their results. For step 1, we had our first send. We sent 10 messages to 109. Its status was active at the time, and at the same time the 115 was on standby. So when we introduced the failover, the status of 109 became unavailable because it wasn't connected anymore, and we saw that the 10 messages failed over to 115, so that gave us a green result because that was good. And then in our second scenario, we did another test where we sent 15 messages to the active on 115 while 109 was in standby mode, and when we failed over from 115 to 109 because of a network disruption, we saw those 15 messages were on 109 and it was now active, so we saw that the 15 messages failed over successfully. So just another quick summary of the entire testing that we did. Failover did occur after the first send as well as the second send, so we maintained the failover reliability throughout the entire test, and no messages were lost or duplicated. So thank you for watching this video.